मिल गई याद है। थैंक यू सत्या।
Sir, approximately 252 participants are there, and we can start now, sir. कर देते हैं, शुरू करें। Good afternoon to all of you. I welcome. एक सेकंड सर, सीओ साहब है सर। सर लिंक तो इस पे सबने ज्वाइन किया है, एक बार फिर से आप क्लिक करें सर, वो ईमेल एड्रेस वगैरह मांग रहा होगा।
नहीं, थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम है पुराने लिंक में, चेंज कराओ।
सब कुछ प्रॉब्लम आई तो मैं दोबारा से क्या कह रहे हैं सर?
सीएम साहब वाले ग्रुप में जो लिंक हुआ था ना, उसमें प्रॉब्लम है।
तो फिर आपने चेंज किया सर?
तुम्हारे सीओई ग्रुप में भेजा हुआ है वो सही है।
सर
क्या होगा, there may be some error somewhere.
ओके सर, मैं एक मिनट वापस से भेज देता हूँ सर, एक सेकंड लूंगा सर। सर एक बार देख लूं, वो ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। नहीं, ठीक है सर। सर 2 मिनट सर, 2 मिनट सीओ साहब को ज्वाइन कर लेंगे।
रवि सर।
हाँ
सर ज्वाइन कर लिया सर।
ठीक ठीक है, वी कैन स्टार्ट सर। कैन वी स्टार्ट नाउ?
हाँ, यस प्लीज।
गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड आफ्टरनून। I welcome all the participants. Approximately 350 participants and attending panelists are there. Today's topic of discussion is e-demand to e-TRR. Basically, the complete rate booking process and RR generation and RR issuing process is has been made digitized. And today, with the help of Chris team and GMF OIS, we will be able to give a demonstration or a presentation of complete cycle of this e-booking process. And I request now Neeraj Verma sir to go ahead with the welcome address, and then Satya will present the complete flow. Thank you, sir. Sir, welcome.
Thank you, Ravi. Good afternoon to everybody, seniors as well as my colleagues and friends. Electronic transmission of railway seats as well as e-registration of demand. The instructions regarding these were issued almost 3 to 4 years back, and a certain number of RRs were also and demands were also getting linked to this. However, the COVID situation provided us with an opportunity to accelerate the entire process. This is both electronic as well as environment friendly. This need not be repeated or underlined in terms of the focus. However, there are 3 key issues which I would like to bring to your notice right here. And for the attendees, this is very important that whenever a customer joins, he has to first he has to get himself registered through a standard process in which he has to go to the divisional office and through the senior DCM's office, this registration takes place. What I would request to you is that there are a number of sightings and there are a number of customers who would not be very closely in terms of distance or time located to the divisional office. I have myself worked in Firozpur division or in Allahabad division, and I know that distances can be fairly enormous. So to encourage this work, we need the supervisors and the CMIs of the section need to assist the various customers and tell them that this is how the registration of the customer himself is to be done. You must appreciate that while it may be easy to suggest that the registration of the customer can itself be further decentralized, but the railway receipt itself is a huge money value and it is a negotiable instrument. Loans and advances and credit lines are taken against it. So we need to be doubly sure that it is reaching the right hands and that it is not misused at any point in time. This is the reason why, despite a number of requests coming from various quarters, we have the railway board that the railways has deliberately not delegated it to absolute field level. So the CMIs and the goods clerk really need to assist the customers to ensure that their registration as per the process is done. The process itself is fairly simple. So please assist them in that and go forward and bring all the customers in this loop. This is the first issue. The second request I have is that the e-registration of demand is where this entire cycle of the electronic movement begins when the customer's interface comes. So please assist him. The OCC is there. There is a 24-hour helpline available. And make use of all these facilities wherever the customer is facing a problem, wherever you as a goods supervisor or a field official is facing a problem. There is a 24/7 helpline. There is COFIS's office, which is there to assist you. There is the CRIS OCC helpline as well as the customer helpline, which is there to assist you. The third aspect which I would like to bring to your notice is that from the screen you would be able to see that not all zones are in the range of 75% plus. While I would not, lay emphasis on those zones where the number of RRs generated are less than 50 or 60, but still there are a number of zones where it can easily be 95% plus. So my request is that while the senior officials are trying to bring it to 100% level, but there is no reason why it should not be anything above 96, 97%, given the fact that it has not been made compulsory. There is a very good reason why it has not been made compulsory. It has been felt that there are a large number of unregistered, once in a while, farmer kind of users who may not have either the understanding or the wherewithal to come get themselves registered first and then place their indent or get the RR issued. This is one part of it. Satani, who is one of the senior most people in CRIS FOIS and has been associated with the TMS and the generation of RR part for the last 20 years, will walk you through the various critical steps. But again, I would like to end my address with the request that whatever customer comes to you, all this e-registration of demand and all other things are available to be done on the mobile itself. It is to be available to be done on the laptop. It is available to be done on the desktop. It is available to be done on the TMS terminal of the goods supervisor. So please ensure that the entire process is made electronic. It will help right until the very end of the cycle, as well as it will help in the correct transmission of the data to the destination and as well as en route stations. And as you are very well aware that the entries made in railway receipt also have a direct bearing on a large number of issues, including the traffic accounts office, the goods balance sheet, and a whole lot of other issues. This is the major source of earning for the Indian Railways, and therefore correct entry in the RRs as well as under correct heads in the RRs are very important. While I will not digress into that part of the entire story, I will again request that please ensure that every customer who comes to you, certain amount of hand holding is done, and that the percentage of RR and percentage of ETRR should be 100% and nothing less than 99% on any day. Thank you so much. And I now invite Satya Panigrahi, who is the principal project engineer and looking after the TMS part of FIS. He will walk you through various parts of the e-registration of demand as well as the ETRR. Thank you. Satya.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just let me start my PPT. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, Satya, go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you for this FOIS webinar on e-demand and ETRR. I am Satya Panigrahi. I am Principal Project Engineer, Chris. I am associated with this FOIS project for last 20 years, since 1998 to be precise. These two applications we have designed, these are basically for the customer interface. One is e-demand and the other is ETRR. Though it is customer centric, but still there is some part which railway authorities needs to be reported on this particular application. So let's start with the e-demand part. The features of e-demand, there is a user registration and maintenance. Then a program traffic or sponsored traffic for coal and other than coal. Then program sanctioned by the railway authorities, and finally the e-demand or the e-offer registration. So these are the features of e-demand. So what are the benefits to the customer? It is easy to use web interface available 24/7. This is available for corporates and agents. Both programmed and non-programmed demands can be placed. This is integrated with IRCTC payment gateway for WRF collections. There is a complete transparency in workflow, track and trace of registered intents, and reduced paperwork and visit to the goods side. So these are the benefits to the customers. Now, what about the Indian Railways? Again, the reduced paperwork and documentation, easy to use web interface, advanced insight to the customer's demand, improved rolling stock utilization, transaction login and audit trails available, and WRF collection and refund through the payment gateway of IRCTC. So I have just listed these are some of the benefits to both customer and the Indian Railways. So now comes to user registration and maintenance part. So till this time, basically a person comes to the goods shed and he gives you the forwarding note for placing an indent. So when that person is sitting on the other side of the system, so for a system, the main part is to identify a person, identify the organization who it is representing, because we are interacting with that customer through email and mobile number. So email and mobile number verification should be done. Then document verification or identity verification should be done by railway authority. And then we'll authorize the customer to access the ERD application. So this is the process. User has to feed in the ERD application on FOIS website by the customers. Email and mobile verification will be done by the system. Document verification by the railway authorities. Then customer will be notified by the one-time login password, and the customer will be able to log in into the ERD application. So if the customer goes to the FOIS website and for registration process, this is a three-step process. In the first step, we are basically capturing the details of that particular person, like the first name, last name, gender, mobile number, and email ID, all these details. Then some proof of identity of that particular customers, like PAN card, Aadhaar number, or ID card, his picture, and a soft copy of those cards to be uploaded. Then organization details he is basically representing to, and the proof of that particular organization, and last, which all locations that particular customer is going to be used to interact with the railways, like placing the indents and placing the programs, etc., which zone, which locations. So all these information he needs to capture in the application. So once that is being done, then the system will basically verify his email ID and the mobile number. So system will automatically send an activation email to that particular email ID that he has mentioned at the time of registration, and this will provide a link. This is the particular link for clicking or for verifying that particular email address. So once the customer clicks this, then he will be open with this particular screen for mobile number verification. System has sent a mobile number, sent an OTP to that particular mobile number that it needs to be verified. By this two process, basically system is verifying that particular email ID, whether this is correctly mentioned, it is correct and belong to the correct person or not, plus the mobile number, whether this is the same person who has got the OTP or mobile number or not. So this is the user registration process and user activation process. So once this is done, the customer needs to go to the nearest senior DCM office to verify the papers and get his user details verified. So here actually railway authorities comes into picture. So they have the option of user verification. Here they basically verify the customer details, the papers, ID cards, etc., etc., and then they will basically authorize that particular user for a particular task, whether he is an end customer or he is an sponsor, or in fact for railway users, whether he is an authorizing user or not. Similarly, for user maintenance, we have provided certain facilities to the railway user, like user suspension. So once a particular user is basically he is transferred from one organization or he has left the job, he has to approach the nearest senior DCM office, or his company has to approach the nearest senior DCM office to suspend his user IDs. That if something needs to be modified, we have given this option for profile modification. In profile modification, the railway can change the name, address, alternate email ID, alternate mobile number, etc., of that particular customer. Then a role modification. So type of traffic he is basically handling, like call or other than call, or whether he is a sponsor or a end customer. All these role modifications can be done by the senior DCM office. We have already provided a facility to the customer to change his password. So at the time of changing his password, we basically ask him some secret questions which he has entered at the time of registration. Once that is being done, then they will be allowed to change their passwords. So in case he forgot all the security questions and he is unable to, reset his password or modify his password, he can approach the railway authorities, and railway authorities have an option to reset the password. So once that is being done, then password will be reset to test, and the customer can log in and change his password in the next login time. So, and the last options we have provided to the railway users is for addition or deletion of any organization or loading station for that particular person. So these are the options we have given to railway users. So now comes program traffic or sponsor traffic. So this is basically the monthly programs are captured from the consumer if required, that has to be endorsed by the sponsors. This is basically for the call traffic, programmed call movement. Endorsement has to be done by the call company, etc. And then these programs or monthly programs needs to be sanctioned by railway authorities. Once these programs are sanctioned, the customer can place e-demand by paying WRF through the payment gateway if it is required. After the e-demand is registered, same is conveyed to the goods clerk of the particular loading stations and the railway authorities, and supply and loading can be done against that particular e-demand. So this is the process flow for the program or sponsor traffic. There are two types of programs we are basically handling. One is coal and one is other than coal for all other type of commodities. We have designed this particular module of program traffic call as per details provided by the EDRM office of Calcutta. So EDRM office basically handles the call sanctioning of Eastern Railway, East Coast Railway, Southeastern Railway, Southeast Central Railway, and East Central Railway. So these 5 zones comes under EDRM office. But later on, after getting the approval from Railway Board, we have basically implemented the same module for all other zones where coal traffic is being handled. So there are 3 types of traffic which is being handled in coal, basically program, non-program, and imported. And 3 types of commodities: coal, washed coal, and coke. So this is basically a table, which type of program is entered by whom, and whether it is endorsed or not and sanctioned or not. So this is the basically table where it shows the program call is entry by the program is entered by the consignee. It has to be endorsed by the call company and sanctioned by the railway authorities. So similarly, washed coal and coke of program movement as the program are paid by the consignee, and it has to be endorsed by the washery or coke plant, as the case may be, and finally sanctioned by the railway authorities. For the non-program movement of coal, washed coal and coke, the program has to be placed by the consignor, and there is no requirement of any endorsement, and it has to be sanctioned obviously by the railway authorities. Similarly, for imported case, basically there are coal and coke movement under imported coal. And again, the consignor has to place the indent, and there is no requirement of any endorsement for this particular type. So what is program traffic? So basically program entry, these are monthly bulk programs by the customers, and all types of coal traffic are being handled. For certain non-programmed and imported traffic, we used to capture some order masters. Those orders details are being fed by the customer and verified by the railway authorities. Basically, these papers previously are submitted by the customer to the EDRM office or the CFTM COM office of the zonal railways prior to sanction of this program. So all those we are basically capturing through the system. So once the program is entered, then if required, it is being endorsed, as I have already said for the program traffic. Then it is being sanctioned by the railway authorities. So these are the screenshots of the program call. So the program is being captured in the system. We have captured like what is the pilot, what is the destination, who is the consignor, who is the coal company, what is the coal field, and what is the number of rakes required in this particular month. So all these details are captured, and also we have provide a facility of a pattern to the customer. So if he saves this particular pattern, next time he doesn't have to enter all these things. He just have to select that particular pattern, and the system will auto-populate all these things, and he will just verify and click on save. So just to facilitate the customers, we have provided this particular facility of generating and using that particular pattern. So once these details are captured, it has to be shown to the NROSI or the coal companies. So coal company can select all these details, and he finally has to select whether he endorse this particular thing or reject this particular program. He can have an option for modification some of the fields entered by the coal company, by the consignee. And once he endorses this particular thing, then it is being shown to the railway authorities for sanctioning. So again, the railway authorities will be shown with all the details. These are the details of the program that is being entered by the consignee or consigner, as the case may be. These are the endorsement details if required. And finally, he has to enter the sanction details, whether he wants to sanction it or reject it. All these informations are being captured. He has an option, to specify whether this particular traffic will be booked by priority C class or priority D class. Whatever he mentions at the time of sanction, the demand will be placed under that particular priority class. So these are some of the master details or master data which we are basically capturing. These are basically for non-programmed and imported purposes. So these are the coal order master, blended coal order master, coal stock certificate masters, and all these masters are being captured. These are captured by the customers, and these details are shown to the railway authorities for sanction or approval. So once these order details are approved, then while placing the program, the customer will refer these approved order details to place against these particular order details. There are some exception tasks we have provided for this program coal movement. First is Annexure D. This facility is available for sanctioned programs under programmed and imported traffic. Through this task, after sanction, consigner can modify few program details like pilot, valid up to destination, consignee, destination type, etc., etc. And if the intent is already registered against the sanctioned program, then only destination and consignee details can be modified. Second is revalidation. So this facility is available for non-programmed and imported traffic, which allows the customer and railway authorities to revalidate any lapsed sanctioned programs which were not indented within the validity period or was indented but indent was cancelled by the customer in the previous month. So this is basically if that particular program is not supplied during the previous month and is expired, then that particular program can be revalidated and put into the system. The third option is the reconciliation. So again, this is available for non-programmed and imported traffic. This is basically to reconcile the difference between the RR quantity and the order quantity. Like let's say one order is basically is for let's say 4,000 ton, and he has a sanction program, and the rake is loaded for let's say 3,200 ton. So the remaining 800 ton for all these RRs can be reconciled, and an order details will be created in the system which the customer can refer for the next indent program registration. And the fourth exception task we have provided is for reprogram. So this facility is available for program traffic or program coal movement against lapsed allotted programs of the last month, which allows the customer to reprogram against any such program in the subsequent month. So this is basically for the core priority and ELC category. Basically, this is coal for powerhouse kind of thing. And this facility is available for 3 consecutive months. The lapsed programs of last 3 months can be reprogrammed in the current month. Certain queries have also been provided to the customer to view the call programs. These are the queries. So this is all about the call program. So now comes the program traffic for other than call commodity. So we call it customer rec requirement, that is CRR. So this is basically valid for all type of commodities other than coal. Currently, it is being used by food grain FCI authorities, and also we have implemented it for salt commodities and all other type of commodities where program is being sanctioned by the railway authorities. So again, these are monthly programs. These are entered by the consignor, and as there is no requirement of endorsement for these particular programs of other commodities. And finally, it has to be sanctioned by the railway authorities before using or placing indent against this particular program. So here the customer can enter the details of those programs. He can enter the details of the consignor consignee details of the program, and he can enter the destination consignee and stock details of that particular program. So once it is entered, then it will be visible to the railway authorities for sanctioning. Similarly, at the time of sanction, they have they can sanction it or reject it, and they will specify the priority class for this particular program. Again, certain queries for the customer to view the programs or customer rec requirement. Once the program are sanctioned by the railway authorities, then comes the e-demand registration. So basically, e-demand registration task, it is available for sanctioned program, coal, sanctioned program, other commodities. We have provided a unique feature like loading pattern. You can place direct e-demand registration. Our customer can place multiple consignor LWL for FFS traffic. So all these facilities are there already inbuilt into the e-demand module for e-demand registration. So this is basically the process. If it is a sponsored traffic, program has to be captured and sanctioned. Customer will select a sanctioned rec program or CRR, then register a e-demand against it, or he can directly register the e-demand. One OTP will be sent to his registered mobile and email ID. He has to confirm the demand registration with the OTP, upload supportive documents if required. He needs to pay the online WRF if applicable. So once that is done, e-demand is registered, and finally he has to submit the system generated e-demand registration slip at the forwarding location at the time of loading. So this is the process of e-demand registration. So here are some of the screenshots. This is for sanctioned call programs. So the customer has to select the particular program against which he basically wants to place the e-demand. Similarly, for other commodity, this is the screen sanctioned program. He has to select which program against which program he has to basically place the e-demand registration. And similarly, the loading pattern, he can select a loading pattern and register demand. So these are the three facilities available with the customer to register a demand. So this is the e-demand registration screen where he can either select all the three options or he can directly click on the registration button to register the demand. Again, e-demand registration is a three-step process. In the first step, we are basically capturing all the header details of that particular e-demand. Then the stock, commodity, destination details, those are basically forwarding node details of that particular e-demand. And finally, in the third step, we are basically capturing if WRF is applicable, how much WRF is being applicable, whether this is under freight advance scheme, whether all these supplementary informations, those are basically are required to be captured. So this is the three-step process where we basically capture all the details of the e-demand registration. If we select this particular through a loading pattern, then all the details will be auto-filled. Similarly, if we select this e-demand registration against a particular sanctioned program, some of the fields which are already there will be auto-filled, and the remaining which are not yet captured, those will be captured by the system. So once he enter all these details, he has to enter a CAPTCHA, and here again he has an option to save this particular entry as a loading pattern. So if he clicks on this loading pattern, then this loading pattern will be saved, and he can use this particular loading pattern to place e-demands against that particular pattern in the future. So once this three-step process is completed and he will submit, one OTP will be sent to the registered mobile number and email ID of the customer to confirm this particular e-demand. At the time of confirmation, if WRF is applicable, system say how much WRF is there, and for if right now GST is not levied on this, but on WRF payment, so there will be nil GST, and the final WRF needs to be collected from the customer. This can be done either through lump sum account or through online payment. So for wagon registration fee, some customers which are platinum or gold or silver card holders, they are exempted from the payment of WRF. This is being captured in terminal management system or TMS application under customer profile menu. So if you capture that customer, the details of that customer in the customer profile for that particular location, then system will not ask for any WRF from that customer. Or second option is lump sum account if held at the originating station. And the third, IRCTC payment gateway. So we have reached our IRCTC payment gateway. Earlier, only there are two net bankings are available. Within last 2 months, we have added one aggregator into that particular payment gateway, where the customer has an option to net banking from various banks. Debit card, credit card, and UPI transactions are also available. Once the payment is done, demand is registered, and the same is intimated to the goods clerk of the loading station in his demand registration screen with an flagging or color coding as e-demand. So once the demand is registered, customer has also an option to view the registered demands. A confirmation slip is generated once that e-demand is registered, and the same is mailed to the customer on a registered email ID. Also, the customer has an option to download the same in the e-demand login e-demand screen also. At the time of loading, the customer needs to deposit the signed confirmation slip along with the physical forwarding note with the goods clerk. So this is as per the extant provisions or instructions issued by the Railway Board. And when goods clerk receive this confirmation slip, he has to capture that yes, he has received the confirmation slip in TMS also. So these are basically the broader aspect of e-demand applications, what all facilities are available. Some of the silent features of e-demand. For certain program traffic or program coal movement, basically of Coal India subsidiaries, e-demand is not registered by the customer. Instead, they basically register an e-offer. Once these e-offers are allotted by the railway authorities in RS call application, they are being converted to e-demand at that particular place. Also, e-demands can be registered for multiple consignee. E-demands can be registered for multiple destinations also. And yes, I have already told you loading pattern for repetitive traffic. So these are some of the silent features of e-demand. Some enhanced features of in-demand. Recently, we have implemented these changes into the e-demand module. First one, program traffic for salt. Second one, FFS traffic. Third one, iron ore. And fourth one, e-demand for granite. So these are the new addition to the e-demand module. So for salt traffic, the customer has to place a program in customer rec requirement screen. At the time of placing the program, he has to upload a signed copy of the forwarding note, which is being done by the salt inspector. So he has to upload that forwarding note or signed copy of the forwarding note. Donor authorities will check that particular detail against the program sanctioned, and he has to sanction that particular thing in the e-demand module. So once that particular program is sanctioned, customer can place ERD for salt traffic in ERD module. Then for FFS traffic. For FFS traffic, it is basically multi-consigner or LWR or less than work and load cases. For that, we have created a new set of screens to capture the FFS traffic. Multi-consigner. How one single person can place an e-demand for multi-consigner. Multi-consignee, yes, this is the facility available in the ERD module since the inception of the project. But for multi-consigner means as a person, let's say Satya, me, I am authorized for more than one organization to place an e-demand. Then only I can place e-demand for multi-consigner. The same thing we have replicated into the system. So one person who is authorized for more than one organization, he is allowed to place an e-demand for multi-consigner. At the time of capturing or details capturing an e-demand registration, he has to specify who all consigners are there in this particular e-demand. Yes, of course, he has to be authorized for all these organizations or as consigners. So this is the newest addition into the e-demand. Then iron ore traffic. So iron ore, we have another system of linking with the state government. For Odisha and Jharkhand, we have linked FOIS to their respective systems to get the rec permit details from their state mining authority system. So for those states, the customer has to enter the state permit number and permit date and get these permit details. So these details will be fetched directly from the state government and those will be shown to the user here for linking the same. Other states where these where voice is not coming to the state government systems, there they have to basically enter the details, state permit number and permit date, and they have to upload the permit form or permit order which they have been which is being issued by the state government. So we have updated this particular module also. Right now, this iron ore traffic for e-demand, this is being implemented as a pilot project at Nayagarh and Burbil. These are the two stations where this is being implemented as a pilot project. Once it is through and Railway Board approves, this will be implemented over IR. The last edition or new add to this e-demand is e-demand for granite traffic. As per the Railway Board's order, we have implemented this e-demand for granite traffic, and it is being implemented over South Central Railway for loading from Karimnagar, Gangadhara and Uppal stations, where the state government basically issues a permit for movement of granite. So again, the customer at the time of placing the Indian, he has to enter these details, permit details, and he has to upload that particular document which is being issued by the state government. Also, the goods clerk is to capture the transit pass details in voice application which is being provided by the customer at the time of loading. So these details also needs to be captured by the goods clerk. So this is all about e-demand or e-registration of demand. Next comes the ETRR, basically electronic transmission of railway receipt. So it's a green initiative of Indian Railways to reduce use of paper and electronic data interchange. This reduces visits of customers to railway goods trade for collection of RR, digital workflow from generation of RR till delivery goods. So basically, customer, there's a lot of help the customers are getting by this ETRR. I'll just list out all these things also in the next slide. Again, this is a highly secure, user-friendly and transparent workflow, and it is available 24/7 to reduce malpractices. The business workflow of ETRR. So consigner basically login into a e-demand module. He needs to register e-demand and opt for ETRR in lieu of an RR. So the ETRR process flow basically starts from here. Once e-demand is registered and consigner opts for ETRR, then the ETRR process flow starts. When the RR is generated through FOIS TMS and collection is done, a password protected ETRR is sent to the consigner through email. The password is also shared and the intimation is also shared on the as an SMS to the customer also. There are options to transfer and surrender ETRR by the customer. So this is the process flow, the business workflow of ETRR application. So ETRR, the generation and transmission, as I said, we basically register for the ETRR. So goods clerk will be notified in TMS of ETRR against each pending RR through caller indicator. Once freight is collected and RR generated through FOIS TMS, a password protected ETRR will be sent to the consigner. Printing of the RR will be restricted in FOIS TMS applications. So consigner will have an ETRR in the mailbox, or he can log in into the e-demand and view the ETRR using the password shared through the mail and SMS. This is the screens of registration for ETRR by the customer. So this is the e-demand screen. Once the e-demand is registered, he has to select it and he has to register for ETRR. He can select. System will show all the forwarding nodes of that particular e-demand, and customer can select a specific e-demand forwarding node or all the forwarding nodes for ETRR. System will internally check whether this is a valid for ETRR. Validity means consigner as well as the consignee for that location should be available on the ERD platform. If there is no person registered for the consignee at the destination, then ETRR cannot be opted. So system will verify, validate whether ETRR is possible or not, then system will allow that particular consigner to opt for ETRR. Similarly, we have provided a screen where he can select normal demand as ETRR also. This is available for container traffic and for automobile traffic. Once the ETRR is opted by the consigner, a notification or intimation will be shown to the goods clerk in the list of forwarding node screen with this color combination or colors this as ETRR. Once the RR is generated, and freight charges are collected, a password protected ETRR is generated and mailed to the consigner on his registered email ID. This is the sample of ETRR where the header information shows all the details of the railway receipt like RR number, date, FNR number, station from, station to, etc., etc. With a footer message who has basically prepared, or what is the name of the voice user who has prepared this particular RR, on which IP address and at what time. So this is just to say that this is an authentic document prepared by a goods clerk. So this is the footer and a disclaimer. So this is the sample ETRR. Now the ETRR is being given or provided to the consigner. This needs to be transferred to the consignee, and finally this needs to be surrendered to the railways for taking the physical delivery. So what is the process for transfer of ETRR transfer? Again, the consignor needs to log in. He can view the list of ETRRs generated to the system. He will select a specific RR to be transferred. Then he has an option to transfer within his organization or to the consignee. So he has to select to whom he is going to transfer. He will authorize this transfer with an OTP. Once the transfer details are saved, the new owner of the ETRR will be notified by the system with a new RR, new password, and a SMS intimation. ETRR will be removed from the original owner. So this is the process of ETRR transfer workflow. So this is the screenshots. He can log in into the eDemand ERD module. He can select the ETRR menu and he will be listed with all the RRs. He can download the ETRR from here also. He has an option to transfer. He has an option to surrender. Or if he has forgot his password, he has an option to get the password as well. So this is the transfer. Once he selects the particular RR to be transferred, he has an option to transfer within the organization or to the consignee. So he has to select the user ID or maybe of the receiver. He has an option to view user details also, where all the details of that particular person registered in the ERD module, these details can be viewed. So here to transfer this with an OTP. Once it is done, the new RR will be sent to the new owner of that particular RR. Similarly, once that RR is transferred to the consignee, it has to be surrendered back to the railways for taking the physical delivery. So this is the process flow. He has to log in, he has to select, and he has to say that what is the purpose, whether it is to be taken that for the delivery. He is going to he is authorizing somebody to take the delivery, or he himself wants to take the delivery. So all these details will be captured. So once those details are captured, system will generate an e-transaction slip. That e-transaction slip needs to be taken to the goods clerk with the copy of the ETRR and one ID proof to basically the goods clerk to verify, yes, he is basically coming to taking the physical delivery of the goods. In the ETRR surrender menu, if the RR is still with consignor, he has an option to surrender that particular RR for issuance of supersessional RR, or he wants a manual RR in place of an ETRR. If the ETRR is available with a consignee, then again he has an option for issuance of supersessional RR, physical delivery of consignment, rebooking of consignment. So these are the reasons that are being required to be fed as the surrender reason at the time of surrender by the customer. At the time of surrender, he has to say whether he is going self or he is authorizing some person to take the delivery. At the time, if he is authorizing some person, then he has to mention the name of that person, the proof of that person, ID card type and ID card number. All these details will be printed on the e-surrender slip, so that the goods clerk will know that yes, this is the correct person who has come here to take the delivery. You can see the photographs. If he is registered customer's photograph will be printed. Else, these are the details will be printed, which basically come to take the delivery. This is again a sample of surrender transaction slip. The customer comes to the goods shed with the e-surrender slip and all the copy of ETRs and all the papers, ID proofs. Goods clerk will need to update the TMS systems about the surrender. So in the normal delivery book or in the outward menu, he has an option, or he has an option to view the ERR generated. He will select this thing and he will ask, he has to fill the details, whether he has got the received the details or received the e-surrender slip or not, and the date of this thing. There is a transaction ID printed on that particular e-surrender. He has to fill in that thing into the system. So once the system validates, verifies, then only system will update the surrender details into the TMS system, and the delivery book will be updated accordingly. Some of the enhanced features of ETRR. We have provided a option to register for ETRR against a normal demand. Multiple ETRR can be transferred at one go. Multiple ETRRs can be surrendered at one go. Forced surrender of ETRR by railway authorities in case of diversion. So registration for ETRR, here we have given an option to opt for ETRR as the manual demands. Manual, I mean demands which are registered directly in TMS, not through e-demand. Container traffic and automobile traffic and empty haulage RRs can be marked through this option. Then multiple ETRR transfer. So basically, if one demand and one owner is there of that particular demand, then multiple ETRRs can be transferred at one go. This facility basically we have designed for this FFS traffic, where places the indent at the source station, and he may register at the destination stations also as an aggregator. So he doesn't have to, and all the FFS checks are having around the 75 to 120 RRs in one rake. So we have provided this feature so that he can select all the ETRRs of against that particular indent, and he can transfer at one go. Similarly, at the time of surrendering also, he has an option to select multiple RRs to surrender back to the railways. The last option we have added, in case of diversion and generation of supersessional RRs, Railway Board has issued guidelines to provide a facility to the railway users to forcefully surrender the ETRR into the system. So we have implemented this particular thing in the last TMS version release. So here he will select the details of the RR scene. He has to forcefully surrender it, saying the authority details and all. Once he saved it, the RR will be disappeared or removed from the customer, will disappear login, and details will be updated in the system of surrendering and all. So that's all. This is all about ETRR, e-demand and ETRR from my side. We can have any question or answer session.
Kapil, thank you,
Yes,
Satya.
sir.
Kapil, we can entertain question and answer one by one.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Now I would request all the attendees, if they have any questions or any clarification, they may please raise your hands through options available in the webinar screen. So as of now, we have 4 or 5 questions. Right.
Start, Kapil.
Yeah.
Kapil,
Mr. Aslam Ali.
who is the first one?
Yes, yes. Mr. Aslam Ali, are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, please, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Aslam Ali,
Ji, sir.
please ask your question. कोई question है?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Go for the next one.
Yeah, Mr. Biswajit Das. Biswajit Das, are you there?
ASC class 1 है, ये class 1 तो नहीं लगता है ASC?
Mr. Biswajit, are you listening?
Biswajit Das.
Hello.
Please, you want to ask something?
Sir?
You want to ask something? You have raised your hand. Is there any question?
No,
regarding-
no.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, Kapil, next one.
Yes.
Kapil, इनको म्यूट कर दो. Who is the next one?
Mr. Pranay?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Pranay, you can ask.
Yeah. Very good evening to all. Actually, sir, I have one question. I am from ISCO Steel Plant, say ISCO Steel Plant, Balpur, West Bengal. So, in our incoming yard, we receive almost 200 to 250 rakes per month. So, for each and every rake, I have to surrender that ETRR and submit the copy to your authorities. So, can I give these ETRR copies in soft format, soft copies? Or is it compulsory to give in hard copies only?
Yes, sir. As per the current guidelines, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes,
Sir, as per the current guidelines issued by Railway Board, the hard copy of So the surrender slip has to be given to the goods clerk for taking the delivery. Once if railway board,
I am giving, sir. Surrender slip I am giving. For that it is no issue. I am talking about ETRR, that the copy which is coming to me, I have to print it and submit it to your officer, the goods
that
clerk.
is that is also basically as per the guidelines of railway board, it is to be surrendered along with the confirmation slip or surrender slip, right? If it is modified, then obviously yes, we can do it. Ravi sir, we can ask board
Because sir, it is a private siding and no other rakes are received at our private siding. Only the rakes which belongs to us, we receive only those
Okay.
rakes.
Okay, okay,
Can
we
it be
will,
done? It will be very helpful to us, sir.
okay, we'll clarify from railway board and we'll try to do it. We'll be able to do it. Next. Kapil, next.
Yes. Mr. Priti Patel.
Mr. K.
Miss Priti Patel.
Yes.
Yes. Do you have any questions? Please ask.
Yeah, hello.
हाँ बोले.
You're audible.
I need to ask how the customer can change their primary email ID and contact details in case the person who's authorized to do that is not working in the organization anymore.
I've already told in my presentation, there is an option. See, just mute her.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the e-demand system, basically we are identifying one person, and that person is representing some company. So it is like Satya is representing Chris. So if Satya is not there, then first his ID needs to be suspended. And if Manish is there in place of Satya, then Manish needs to be registered. It's not like that registration belongs to Chris. It's like that registration belongs to Satya, who is working for Chris. So you should ask your customer. To get the earlier user ID suspended, and the new person should register following the same process. Am I clear? Next.
Right, sir. Mr. Mohammed.
मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जो सैंक्शन प्रोग्राम और नॉन सैंक्शन प्रोग्राम में डिविडेंड हो सकता है क्या, जैसे कि कोल और लाइमस्टोन?
नहीं, उसको ज्वाइन नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि क्या है कि एक का प्रोसेस है कि और सैंक्शनड है तो प्रायोरिटी क्लास उसका सी रहेगा
जी।
तो डायरेक्ट डिमांड लगता है, यानी जिसके सैंक्शन की जरूरत नहीं होती है उसको बेसिकली वो प्रायोरिटी डी में चलता है। तो अगर
फिजिकली हमारा यहाँ पे ऐसा लोड होता है।
नहीं
तो
उसके आपका लोड, उसके लिए क्या करना है आपको, सैंक्शन प्रोग्राम के थ्रू आप एक डिमांड लगाइए, दूसरा डिमांड को आप नॉर्मल डिमांड के थ्रू लगाइए, डायरेक्ट डिमांड के थ्रू, और दोनों को फिर आरएमएस में क्लब कर दीजिए और रेक डिमांड। राइट, तो इट इज बेसिकली टू।
अभी जो है हम इसको तो हमारा टीएमएस में कर पा रहे हैं, लेकिन ई डिमांड में ये हो नहीं पा रहा है।
ई डिमांड में आप उसके कि वो पीसमिल डिमांड लगाएगा।
जी
वो पीसमिल डिमांड जब लगाएगा तो आप उसको कब कर देंगे तो रेक डिमांड बनेगा और ट्रेन लोड बेनिफिट मिलेगा, सेम रेट से उसकी लोडिंग हो पाएगी।
जी, वो तब 2 पीस मिल डिमांड लगाएगा।
राइट।
जो सैंक्शन प्रोग्राम है उसका भी पीस मिल लगाएगा, इसका भी पीस मिल लगाएगा। तो रेक प्रोग्राम में तो रेक है।
वो पीसमिल जब लगाएगा तो दोनों, क्योंकि उसमें यूनिट्स कम होंगे ना।
जी
उसमें सैंक्शन तो 58 का हुआ होगा,
जी जी
लेकिन वो इंडेंट तो कम वागन का लगाता होगा ना।
जी जी
तो वो पीसमिल लगाएगा और डायरेक्ट डिमांड पीसमिल लगाएगा, फिर दोनों को जैसे आप क्लब करते हैं वैसे क्लब करके फिर आप उसको ट्रेन लोड बेनिफिट और लोडिंग कर सकते हैं।
ओके,
थैंक यू।
Mr. Rajiv sir,
हाँ सर, यस सर, राजीव सरन।
ask your question.
आवाज आ रही है सर मेरी? राजीव सरन बोल रहा हूँ सर।
हाँ हाँ आ रही है आपको।
सर जब ETRR का जो ऑप्शन आता है सर, गाड़ी रिलीज करने के बाद तो ऑप्शन पार्टी से पूछना पड़ता है कि ETRR कर दो। जो पार्टी नहीं करता है सर तो नॉर्मल अलर्ट बन जाता है सर। ये ऑप्शन साइडिंग के पास होनी चाहिए सर, रेलवे के पास होनी चाहिए, पार्टी के पास नहीं सर। बाय डिफॉल्ट रेलवे को दीजिए सर TMS में, क्योंकि मेरे पास सर 100% पार्टी सर ई कस्टमर है। का ऑप्शन होना ही नहीं चाहिए सर। तो बाय डिफॉल्ट ETRR कर दीजिए, और यदि नॉर्मल बनाना है सर तब मैं उसमें बाय DCM सो एंड सो अथॉरिटी नंबर सो एंड सो डेट डाल के नॉर्मल अलर्ट बनाएंगे सर।
अच्छा राजीव, इस पे देखा जाए, सोचा जाएगा, क्योंकि कस्टमर को आप फोर्स नहीं कर सकते हैं ETRR के लिए, ये कस्टमर को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए है। लेकिन आपकी बात पे सोचा जाएगा, फिर डिस्कस किया जाएगा सर, रेलवे बोर्ड से इस पे आदेश लिया जाए
सर। तो बाय डिफॉल्ट ETRR का ऑप्शन आना चाहिए सर, ऐसा थोड़ा कर देते ना सर तो बढ़िया हो जाता।
कहा इस पे डिस्कस किया जाएगा, पूछा जाएगा, आदेश लिया जाएगा।
यस सर, यस सर, यस सर, यस सर।
नेक्स्ट
थैंक यू सर।
Mr. Rajesh Sahu. Mr. Rajesh Sahu, are you listening? Mr. Rajesh. Okay, go to Mr. M.K. Das. Mr. M.K. Das, you can ask your questions if you are listening, if you are there.
कपिल, M.K. दास को अनम्यूट करो।
Mr. M.K. Das.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, ask your question.
मिस्टर दास, कपिल अनम्यूट करो उसको। मिस्टर दास।
Yes, sir.
बोलो।
Ask if you have a question.
सर, GST के बारे में कुछ क्लैरिटी चाहिए।
बोलो।
सर, क्या होता है जब पार्टी इंडेंट करता है तो उसको GST मतलब अपलोड करना पड़ता है, मतलब फीड करना पड़ता है, ठीक है। खासकर स्पॉन्सर्ड प्रोग्राम में ऑल इंडिया GST भरता है कस्टमर का, ठीक है। उस टाइम क्या होता है, वो रैंडमली किसी भी GST को सिलेक्ट कर देता है, जिसके कारण GST करेक्शन बहुत आ रहा है डिवीजन में। तो ऐसा मॉडल क्यों नहीं हो कि जब कस्टमर प्रोग्राम लगाता है, वन कस्टमर प्रोग्राम टू EDRM ऑफिस, तो मिनिमाइज हो जाए।
नहीं, आपकी बात कट गई थी, फिर से बोलो।
सर, क्या होता है, पार्टी जब इंडेंट लगाता है तो उसमें GST फिल करने का ऑप्शन आता है, ठीक है। जो बी प्रायोरिटी हुआ, अदर देन कोल हुआ या वसरी में हुआ, तो GST खुद पार्टी भरता है, तो GST गलत नहीं होता है। जब कोल इंडिया जब जीएसटी भरता है, जो ऑफर करता है, जिसमें स्पॉन्सर्ड प्रोग्राम में कोल इंडिया इंडेंट करता है, तो उस टाइम क्या होता है, मल्टीपल इंडेंट कस्टमर का रहता है, सॉरी मल्टीपल जीएसटी नंबर। तो वो क्या करता है, रैंडमली किसी भी जीएसटी को सिलेक्ट कर देता है, तो जिसके कारण जीएसटी करेक्शन ह्यूज अमाउंट में डिवीजन आता है।
ओके सत्य,
तो ऐसे क्यों नहीं किया जाता है कि जब कस्टमर जब प्रोग्राम लगाता है, कोल इंडिया को प्रोग्राम देता है, तो उस टाइम जीएसटी भरने का ऑप्शन आ जाए, वो फिल कर ले जीएसटी, ताकि वो जब ईडीआरएम ऑफिस से सैंक्शन होकर आएगा तो कोल इंडिया को रिफ्लेक्ट होगा वही जीएसटी जो भरा होगा, जिसके चलते जीएसटी करेक्शन का मिनिमाइज हो जाए।
एम के दास सत्य यहाँ पे हैं। हेलो बिलासपुर। हाँ दास जी, आपका सजेशन अच्छा है, हम लोग इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने की सोचेंगे, बट मेरा बस ये कहना है कि बिफोर आरआर जनरेशन देयर इज ऑलरेडी एन ऑप्शन इन टीएमएस एप्लीकेशन जिसमें आप जीएसटी को मॉडिफाई कर सकते हो। तो
party is not coming to siding, sir, listen me, party is not coming to siding to rectify the GST. Okay. No one is come to siding that my GST number is wrong. Goods club has no intimation to that is GST is wrong. तो उसके चलते गलत जीएसटी छप जाता है, पार्टी फिर एक महीने के बाद कि मेरा जीएसटी गुड्स क्लब ने गलती कर दिया, जबकि गुड्स क्लब जीएसटी नंबर नहीं भरता है, कोल इंडिया भरता है। कोल इंडिया करता है, मल्टीपल जीएसटी नंबर रहता है कस्टमर का, तो रैंडमली किसी को भी सिलेक्ट कर देता है।
नहीं, मैं वही कह रहा था, आपका अच्छा है, हम उसके ऊपर काम करेंगे, जितने जल्दी हो सके हम कर देंगे, बट स्टिल मैं ये कह रहा था कि उसमें ऑलरेडी आपके पास एक ऑप्शन है, इसमें आप कर सकते हो। बट हाँ, आपके सजेशन के हिसाब से हम लोग काम करेंगे और जल्द से जल्द उसको करने की कोशिश करेंगे। थैंक यू
सर। और है सर।
हाँ बोलो।
ईटीआर के ऊपर है, ईटीआर जैसे एलसी एग्जॉस्ट हो जाता है तो उसको कन्वर्ट करके मनी मोड में टीडी पेमेंट में बनाना है, ठीक है सर। तो जब कन्वर्ट करके बनाते हैं, सपोज कोई कस्टमर दूर का है, सपोज हमने बिलासपुर में बैठा है, कस्टमर पंजाब का है, तो उसने बोलता है कि मेरा 10% लगा के नेक्स्ट रैक में या उसी रैक में काट दो पैसा। बट क्या होता है कि वंस अपन जब कन्वर्ट कर लेते हैं ई पेमेंट टू मनी मोड, वो अगेन रिवर्ट नहीं होता ई पेमेंट।
वो एक्चुअली इसलिए नहीं हुआ क्योंकि बैंकिंग ने इसके ऊपर और लगा रखा है फ्रॉड डिटेक्शन के लिए कि अगर सेम ट्रांजैक्शन आईडी के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग आपका डिफरेंट अमाउंट आ रहा है तो बैंक उसको डिनाई कर देता है। इसीलिए ये नहीं हो पाता है। हाँ, हमने बैंक को इसके बारे में लिखा है। बैंक अगर इस चीज को कोई भी प्रोसेस निकाल के वो करा सकता है तो हमने ऑलरेडी उनको लिखा है और हम फॉलो अप कर रहे हैं। अगर बैंक, ये एक्चुअली हमारे एंड पे नहीं, ये बैंकिंग साइड का है और बैंकिंग साइड से एक बार आ जाएगा तो हम उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर देंगे।
क्योंकि मतलब कोई कस्टमर मतलब बहुत दूर का कस्टमर है, जैसे पंजाब का है, राजस्थान का है, उस कस्टमर बोलते हैं कि हमारा ई पेमेंट से डिडक्ट करता है, तो वी आर अनेबल टू डिडक्ट फ्रॉम देयर अकाउंट।
दास ऐसा है कि ये इशू पहले भी डिस्कस हुआ है। बैंक में अगर एक ही ट्रांजैक्शन आईडी के अगेंस्ट में डिफरेंट पेमेंट की रिक्वेस्ट जाएगी तो बैंक इसको इस ट्रांजैक्शन को रॉन्ग कर देता है और वो इसके अगेंस्ट में पेमेंट पॉपुलेट नहीं करता है। दिस इज बिटवीन रेलवे एंड बैंक. Bank is not accepting this addition या updation of the transaction amount. If they will be able to do it, we will update it. But फिलहाल नहीं हो सकता है।
सर
ठीक
सर, और भी है सर।
आप बोलो।
सर ये जो 10 डेज का WRF फॉरफीचर का है सर, आफ्टर 10 डेज क्या होता है, सपोज एक गाड़ी सप्लाई दिया और पार्टी फ्री टाइम में लोड नहीं कर पाया तो उसका एज पर रूल WRF टू बी फॉरफिटेड। बट सिस्टम क्या करता है, 10 डेज के बाद होता है, इसीलिए WRF फॉरफिट नहीं करता है, वो क्या करता है, पार्टी के अकाउंट में रिफंड कर देता है। तो देन वी हैव टू कलेक्ट मैन्युअली फ्रॉम पार्टी।
नहीं, उसका प्लेसमेंट के 10 दिन के अंदर हो जाता है?
नहीं, 10 दिन के बाद होता है।
तो 10 दिन के बाद
सर 10 दिन के बाद अगर सप्लाई होता है, एज पर रूल फ्री टाइम, बियॉन्ड फ्री टाइम WRF फॉरफीचर होना चाहिए। बट सिस्टम जैसे हम कैंसिल करते हैं, WRF क्या करता है, पार्टी के अकाउंट में चले जाता है, रिफंड हो जाता है। सिस्टम 10 दिन के बाद समझता है। सिस्टम ये नहीं समझता है कि गाड़ी प्लेस हुआ है और इसका फॉरफीचर होना चाहिए, तो हमको पार्टी से फिर मैन्युअली कलेक्ट करना पड़ता है।
सत्या, could you explain what is the problem, what Mr. Das is saying?
दास जी, इसमें क्या डिमांड की बात कर रहे हो या नॉर्मल डिमांड की बात कर रहे हो?
नहीं, कोई भी डिमांड हो, वेदर इट इज ई डिमांड और नॉर्मल डिमांड।
नहीं, इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ क्योंकि ई डिमांड में रिफंड जो है वो खुद इनिशिएट करता है गुड्स क्लर्क। अगर पार्टी के अकाउंट में जाएगा, जितना भी अमाउंट जाएगा वो गुड्स क्लर्क डिसाइड करके भेजता है, राइट? तो ई डिमांड के केस में तो ये सिस्टम नहीं करता होगा। हाँ, लमसम अकाउंट में वो पैसा वापस कर देता होगा। हाँ, ये एक बार देख लेते हैं सर, इंस्ट्रक्शंस हम एक बार देख के फिर उसको उस हिसाब से डिजाइन कर सकते हैं।
ठीक, ओके। और मिस्टर दास?
सर और सर सर वो जो लमसम का कंफर्मेशन स्लिप जो आता है जब आप पेमेंट करते हैं, लमसम का जब पेमेंट करते हैं, जो मनी रिसिप्ट निकलता है लमसम में, उसमें डिटेल नहीं रहता है कि किस अकाउंट का मतलब आपने लिया है। डेबिट, फर्स्ट डेबिट क्रेडिट में जैसे करते हैं, फर्स्ट डेबिट क्रेडिट में जैसे कोई आउटस्टैंडिंग कलेक्ट करते हैं, उसमें किस हेड में लिया है वो नहीं आता है।
उसमें मेरे हिसाब से उसमें ट्रांजैक्शन डिटेल्स रहता है। एक बार मैं फिर एक बार उसको वेरीफाई कर लेंगे। अगर आपका कहना है कि एक ही फॉरवर्डिंग नोट पे लेट्स से डेमरेज कटा या वार्पेज कटा, उस हिसाब से, या किस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ, मतलब डैमेज कटा है कि वारफेज कटा है कि साइडिंग चार्ज, जो भी है, जो भी आउटस्टैंडिंग कलेक्ट हुआ है वो रिफ्लेक्ट उसमें नहीं होता है।
एक बार हम लोग डिटेल्स करके हम ऑफलाइन आपसे बात कर लेंगे, हम अलग से आपसे बात कर लेंगे इश्यूज के बारे में।
और अभी प्रीवियस मीटिंग में भी हुआ था, वो जो FCI का कुछ आउटस्टैंडिंग है, जैसे फूड ग्रेन का जो एग्जेम्प्टेड कमोडिटी है, उसका कुछ आउटस्टैंडिंग अगर डेबिट क्रेडिट फोर्स में करते हैं तो वो GST ले लेता है, तो GST नहीं लेना चाहिए।
वो हमारी लास्ट जो बैलेंस शीट वाली मीटिंग थी उसमें बात हुई थी, हम लोग उस पर काम कर रहे हैं, तो हम एप्लीकेशन रिलीज में।
और एक चीज है सर,
बोलो दास।
सर एक चीज है सर, ये जो RS और TMS में, RS में क्या है कि उनको पूरा टाइप ऑफ कमोडिटी, टाइप ऑफ कोल दिखाता है, CPP, FSN, CMPC सब दिखाता है, जो सीक्वेंस में प्लेस करते हैं। TMS में ओनली पब्लिक एंड PSC दिखाता है, तो वो टाइप ऑफ कोल जो प्लेस होता है, तो कमर्शियल क्लर्क को पता नहीं चलता है कि किस टाइप का कोल सप्लाई हो और पर्टिकुलर डिमांड को पिक करने के लिए। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि कस्टमर का कंप्लेन आ रहा है कि मिसमैच हो रहा है, उनका क्या है कि बिलिंग में मिसमैच होता है। तो सर एक ऑप्शन दिया जाए कि RS में फॉरवर्डिंग नोट नंबर आ जाए और TMS में टाइप ऑफ कोल आ जाए, तो जिसके चलते मिसमैच नहीं होगा सर कोल का।
ठीक है, हम एक बार डिस्कस कर लेंगे इंटरनली, फिर बताएंगे तो भी हो सकता है हम करेंगे।
ठीक है दास, नेक्स्ट कपिल, नेक्स्ट
मिस्टर चक्रवर्ती, are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, actually मैं हल्दिया से बोल रहा था। मेरा जो इशू है रिगार्डिंग ETR सरेंडर, तो हम लोग का यहाँ पे दो मैंने मल्टीपल कस्टमर्स का रेक आता है। तो उस केस में अगर मैं एक कस्टमर एक्चुअली आई एम ऑथराइज्ड बाय वन कस्टमर टू सरेंडर द ETRR टू पोर्ट अथॉरिटीज। अच्छा, ऐसा हो सकता है अगर कोई दूसरा अगर कस्टमर का कोई रेक आएगा तो मेरा जो एग्जिस्टिंग यूजर आईडी है, जो यूजर आईडी मुझे दिया गया है कस्टमर से एज ऑथराइज्ड यूजर आईडी, तो यूजर आईडी में मैं क्या एमेंड कर सकता हूँ कि दूसरा कस्टमर का भी मैं सरेंडर कर पाऊंगा थ्रू दैट आईडी?
हाँ, हमने ऐसे प्रोविजन रखा हुआ है। अगर दूसरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आपको ऑथराइज कर रहा है तो आप नियरेस्ट सीनियर DCM के ऑफिस में विद ऑथराइजेशन लेटर एंड एन एप्लीकेशन जाके आप अपने यूजर आईडी पे उस कस्टमर का डिटेल्स को आप ऐड करा सकते हैं। उसके बाद फिर उसके भी TRRs वगैरह आपके पास दिखेंगे फॉर सरेंडर एंड ट्रांसफर एंड एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा।
अच्छा, मतलब एग्जिस्टिंग यूजर आईडी में मैं एमेंड कर सकता हूँ?
बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं,
मल्टीपल कस्टमर्स के लिए। अच्छा, अच्छा, सेकेंड चीज है, जब मैं ETR सरेंडर कर रहा हूँ तो वो जो RR है वो ऑनलाइन में वो सेव हो रहा है, राइट? तो वो ETRR आफ्टर 2-3 डेज में और दिख नहीं पा रहा हूँ, मतलब वो मैं व्यू नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ ऑनलाइन में। आफ्टर सरेंडर ऑफ द ETRR अगर मैं जानना चाहूंगा कि इस डेट में कौन सा RR आया था, तो मैं वो RR में सर्च में नहीं आ रहा है वो आईडी में।
उसके लिए आपको अपना ETRR का डिटेल्स डाउनलोड करके रखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग उसको प्रिजर्व नहीं करते। एक बार ETRR सरेंडर हो गया, उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग डिलीवरेबल क्लोज हो गया, तो हमारे
अच्छा।
लिए मतलब एज फार एज रेलवे इज कंसर्न उसके लिए वो ट्रांजेक्शन कंप्लीट हो गया है। तो अगर आपके पास ऐसा कुछ होगा तो आप उसका लिस्ट आउट बना के रख सकते हैं, क्योंकि हम इतने RR से हैंडल करते हैं और सारे RR अगर हम प्रोडक्शन मतलब सिस्टम पे प्रोवाइड करके रखेंगे देन इट विल बी ह्यूज डेटाबेस।
अच्छा, उसका
हाँ,
कुछ
हम स्पेसिफिक
हाँ, बोलिए बोलिए।
नहीं, नॉर्मली आपके जो ETRR डिटेल्स वगैरह जो मेल पे आपको भेजा जाता है वो डिटेल्स तो आपके पास हमेशा आप रिजॉल्व कर ही सकते हैं, उसमें कोई इशू
हाँ
नहीं
हाँ,
है।
राइट।
राइट,
ओके ओके, थैंक्स अ लॉट।
थैंक यू।
Kapil, next.
If you have any question, please ask. Mr. Rajiv. Mr. Rajesh Sahu. Mr. Rajesh.
Mr. Rajesh. Next करो Kapil, next.
Mr. Ramesh Babu. Mr. Ramesh Babu, are you listening?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please ask your question.
Inward pull rate daily 60% rates दिन में 70 to 80 रेक्स अक्रोड हो जाता है सर हम ETRR से, लेकिन कंसेनी स्क्रीन किए तो हमको ओनली सम 8 to 10 रेक्स ETRR डिस्प्ले होगा सर कंसेनी को। एक्चुअली वो लोग हमको 60 to 70 RR सरेंडर करना पड़ता।
It is not clear. Can you just repeat? I can't understand it.
Mr. Ramesh Babu, repeat your question. We could not hear you.
Okay, sir. Sir, KPCC साइडिंग में only 60 इनवर्ट पोल रेक्स है सर।
हाँ।
10 दिन में सम 70 रेक्स ETRR अपलोड हो जाता। लेकिन कंसेनी स्क्रीन ओपन किया तो उसको ओनली 10 to 15 रेक्स डिस्प्ले होगा सर, रिमेनिंग RR डिस्प्ले नहीं होता ETRR पे। और सर
आप रेलवे से हैं कि कंसाइनी हैं?
railway.
Okay, you just ask the consignee or the customer to send the detailed screenshot to our mail ID provided, support.ecustomer@kris.org.in. So just ask him to mail the details, mail the issue, and some screenshots so that we can analyze. हम उसको चेक करके उसको फिर हम रिप्लाई करेंगे. उसको एक बार आप मेल करने के लिए बोलो, हमारा जो सपोर्ट वाला मेल आईडी है. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Kapil, next.
Mr. Sanjay. Mr. Sanjay, you can ask your question if you're listening.
Hello.
Yes, please ask.
हेलो सर.
Yes, you are.
हाँ सर, एक सवाल था. ये जो आपने ई डिमांड लगाती है पार्टी कंसाइनर.
आप संजय बोलो.
ये पार्टी जो ई डिमांड लगाती कंसाइनर, ये डिमांड लगाती है टू स्टेशन के लिए, तो उसमें वाया पॉइंट नहीं रहता है सर. हेलो.
हाँ, नहीं रहता.
हाँ, उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है सर? अगर हमारे इधर जो कस्टमर है, मान लो डाउन से मिरज के लिए कोई ट्रैफिक लेके जा रहा है, तो उसको दो रूट है, वाया कुर्डाडी और वाया पूना. तो पार्टी डिमांड करती है कि एक्चुअली हमको चाहिए पूना, लेकिन उसमें ऑप्शन आता है वाया कुर्डाडी. जो उसमें सिलेक्ट रहता है वो ऑटोमेटिकली वही सिलेक्ट हो जाता है, वाया कुर्डाडी.
वाया इसलिए सिलेक्ट होता है क्योंकि आइदर वो शॉर्टेस्ट होगा या फिर वो रैशनलाइज्ड होगा.
हाँ, वो शॉर्टेस्ट है एक्चुअली. लेकिन पार्टी का भी एक पुराना एक केस हो गया था मेरे पास शुगर का ट्रैफिक जाता है, तो उसमें न्यू टिनसिकिया का इंडेंट लग गया था बिहार का. उसमें जोरहट टाउन और न्यू टिनसिकिया दो स्टेशन थे, लेकिन एक का रूट वाया सिकंदराबाद दिखाया और एक का रूट वाया दाउन मनमाड दिखाया. तो शॉर्टेस्ट रूट उसने वो एक्चुअली इसने सिलेक्ट करके लिया कंप्यूटर ने, लेकिन पार्टी बोल रही थी कि उसको वाया मनमाड ही चाहिए वो.
तो उसके हमने एक ऑप्शन दे रखा है ना आपको, बिफोर अलॉटमेंट आप उसका वाया चेंज कर सकते हो, डीआरएस रूट पे ले जा सकते हो.
सर हाँ, अपन कर सकते हैं, लेकिन मैं वही बोला पार्टी को कि आप लोग इंडेंट लगाते टाइम में उसमें क्यों नहीं करते, उसमें आप वाया लगाते हैं.
इंडेंट लगाते टाइम एक्चुअली नहीं है ऑप्शन, क्योंकि इंडेंट लगाते टाइम जैसे टीएमएस में आप जब डिमांड लगाते हो तो सिस्टम शॉर्टेस्ट या रैशनलाइज ही पकड़ता है.
हाँ, करेक्ट.
आप दूसरे टास्क में जाके करते हैं तो वही सेम चीज कस्टमर को भी दिखता है. कस्टमर भी जब इंडेंट लगाता है तो वो शॉर्टेस्ट या रैशनलाइज ही उठता है. उसके बाद वो रिक्वेस्ट आपको देगा तो आप उसको मॉडिफाई कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, वो हम लोग मॉडिफाई करके अभी वो कर दिया उसको. और मैं यही चाह रहा था कि कस्टमर की डिमांड थी, अगर उसी में वाया पॉइंट दिया रहता तो अच्छा होता था, अगर हो सकता है तो.
राइट, हमने नोट कर लिया है. अगर हमें अप्रूवल मिलेगा हम बात करेंगे बोर्ड से, अगर ऐसा होगा तो हम जरूर कर देंगे.
ओके,
नोट कर लिया है. थैंक यू
सर.
Kapil, next. Kapil. Lost.
Mr. Shivaji.
Good evening.
Yes. Ask your question. Any clarification?
डिवीजन के बेलसोंडा लोकेशन से बोल रहा हूँ.
बोलिए शिवाजी.
सर मेरे दो सुझाव हैं.
बोलो.
एक सुझाव ये है सर कि जब हम लोग पोस्ट डेबिट क्रेडिट करते हैं, जैसे किसी रीसीट का एंट्री कर रहे हैं या कोई पुराना पेमेंट है डीसी वगैरह का, जिसमें मतलब जो रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहा है सिस्टम में, तो उसमें क्या होता है सर कि एग्जीक्यूटिव कमोडिटीज में भी ये सिस्टम डिफॉल्ट में जीएसटी ले रहा है. तो हेलो,
गो अहेड, बोलो.
तो सर मेरा ये सुझाव है कि सर जब हम पोस्ट डेबिट क्रेडिट करते हैं तो उस कॉलम में अगर एक कमोडिटी हेड भी जोड़ दिया जाए, जिससे कि ऑटोमेटिक वो कमोडिटी जो एग्जेम्प्टेड है वो आ जाने से वो जीएसटी ना ले सिस्टम. नहीं तो हमें क्या एडजस्ट करना पड़ता है एमआर को मैनुअली. हेलो.
ये इशू लास्ट टाइम जब हमारा बैलेंस शीट का हुआ था उस टाइम पे हमने नोट किया हुआ है. हम लोग इस पे काम कर रहे हैं. इसको सॉल्व करके हम वर्जन अपना रिलीज करेंगे. ये ऑलरेडी इस पे हम काम कर रहे हैं.
सर एक और प्रॉब्लम है हमारे यहाँ। हेलो।
हाँ बोलो बोलो।
सर हमारे यहाँ कुछ कस्टमर का कंप्लेन है कि वो जब ई डिमांड लगा रहे हैं तो उनका WRF का पैसा कट जा रहा है ऑनलाइन, लेकिन वो डिमांड रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं और डिमांड लग किसी भी कारण से टेक्निकल कुछ भी होगा उसका फॉल्ट, फिर वो मजबूरी में सर उनको नॉर्मल डिमांड लगाना पड़ता है डिमांड। तो उनका कहना है कि सर अगर नॉर्मल डिमांड में भी ETRF की फैसिलिटी दी जाए, कि अगर वो मजबूरी में नॉर्मल डिमांड लगाए और गुड्स क्लर्क के पास ETRR को इनेबल करके पार्टी की डिमांड पे पार्टी अगर अपने लेटर से लिख के दे कि भाई मुझे ETRR चाहिए नॉर्मल डिमांड में, और इसमें सर कुछ प्रोविजन हो सके कि नॉर्मल RR पे भी ETRR, नॉर्मल डिमांड में भी ETRR का ऑप्शन दिया जा सके।
ये शिवाजी
जी सर, जी सर।
जो पहला वाला आपका प्रॉब्लम है वो आप केस स्पेसिफिक प्रॉब्लम भेजिए, क्योंकि ये बैंकिंग सिस्टम में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होने की वजह से भी ऐसा हो जाता है कि आपने WRF जमा कराया लेकिन आपकी डिमांड रजिस्टर नहीं है।
जी सर, उसको
तो आप अच्छा मैसेज करके दिखवा लेते हैं, विल एनालाइज इट। कौन सी साइडिंग से है?
बेलसोंडा BLS नहीं सर, हमारे साथ 10-15 दिन पहले हुआ था, 3-4 पार्टियां लगा रही थी, किसी का भी लग नहीं रहा था।
चलो देखते हैं, उसको चेक करवाते हैं, क्योंकि वो कोई बैंकिंग सिस्टम में फेलियर की वजह से प्रॉब्लम होगा, फॉरवर्ड कर दीजिए। दूसरा जो आपका सजेशन है वो हम लोग भी चाहते हैं, वो हम लोग नहीं कर सकते जब तक कि बोर्ड हमको आदेश न दे इसके कि विदाउट ई डिफॉल्ट हम ETRR जनरेट नहीं कर सकते। चलिए नेक्स्ट।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
कपिल नेक्स्ट।
यस सर। Mr. Shrikant.
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Trivandrum. I have two questions.
Yeah, please ask.
One is at a siding, mostly rakes are moved, full rakes are moved and not in piecemeal. Suppose by mistake, the customer selects in the drop-down menu P instead of R. He is not aware of that. He registers a demand and there is no provision for him to change, or for the TMS application also to change from P to R. If there is a pop-up menu saying that if the minimum standard rake size is intended, do you still want to register a piecemeal demand? Then he will become alerted. So our purpose is to serve the customer. So here, for an inadvertent error, what happens is we'll have to generate an RR and drag and load rates, and then or else we'll have to do a fight adjustment. So my suggestion is, if you have a pop-up menu, wherever when the standard rake size is fulfilled, then he can have this option of pop-up menu.
Nice suggestion. We'll definitely work on this. We'll definitely do.
Thank you, sir. Then one more question is that when we withdraw money from ATM, the customer will have a standard PIN number. He uses that PIN number to withdraw the money. Whereas in the e-demand system, first we will get an OTP, and that OTP we will have to enter into that. If there's a problem with the OTP, for hours together the OTP will not come. So the whole thing is get detained. Instead of that, there's a standard PIN number like thing, and he registers a demand, and after a demand registration, a confirmation is he's getting in his SMS or his mail ID. Then there is no question of security error doesn't come. So there will not be any delay in registration of demand. SMS also we need not send.
The OTP is also being shared with the customer on his registered email ID.
Many times it doesn't come. So 5 or 6 OTPs will come in one log. Sometimes that occurs. But if that number is known to that customer, like a PIN number 80, then he can straightaway do that. And once a demand is registered, he gets the confirmation, then his issue is also solved.
Okay. Let's discuss, and if we got to go ahead, then we'll try something.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
One more thing. One of the participants has asked whether the video recording of this presentation will be available. I have pasted a link, which is a YouTube channel, YouTube link. On this link, all the presentations made on the webinar on all IT applications is there. You can see this presentation also. Go ahead. Next, Kapil.
Yes, Mr. Sushil. Are you listening? Mr. Sushil. Yeah, Mr. Vipul Ranjan.
Yeah, I am Vishwan, Senior DCM Jabalpur.
Yeah,
Hello,
please
are you
ask.
listening?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. My question is that, and this is also to add a module regarding iron ore demand. This commodity is right now शामिल ही नहीं किया गया है इसको अभी तक.
Sir, we have already designed the module for iron ore and we have already released it. As I said earlier in the presentation, according to board, this is right now under a pilot phase at 2 locations of Southeastern, one location from Southeastern and one location from East Coast, Bhopal and Nayagarh. So once the Zonal Railways send the details of the pilot to board and board ask us to implement over IR, we are good to go, so we can release it anytime.
Vishwa.
Yes, please.
This already has been implemented to 2 locations, and board is just testing those 2 locations. If it is found successful, we'll implement to the Union in whole India.
Okay.
It will take another 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay. So any process from our side, sir?
I don't think it requires. We are testing at 2 places in Southeastern Railway.
Okay. Thanks.
Next.
Okay, I think all the attendees who have raised their hands. Now we have few questions in question answer block. So we'll take one by one. Let's. One question is how a railway person can check whether the consigner or consignee is registered.
Hello, Satya.
Yes, sir.
ये अच्छा ठीक है हो गया. हाँ कपिल प्लीज कपिल बोलो.
Satya sir. There is a question how a railway person can check whether the consigner or consignee is registered with e-demand.
Okay. Right now there is no facility, but yes, we can provide a query for that whether any person is registered for that particular organization or not. We'll provide him a query.
I think we have already answered this question. How the customer can change their primary email ID and contact details.
This has already been answered.
One question we have, क्या पार्टी ई डिमांड को ऑनलाइन कैंसिल कर सकता है? Next question is the demand can be changed to e demand or not?
Come again.
The manual e demand can be changed to e demand.
No.
E demand changes.
Can the customer modify the demand if entered incorrectly?
The customer doesn't have any information or any provision to modify the demand once it is confirmed. Before confirmation, payment of WRF and confirmation, he has an option to modify the demand. Once that is done, any modification in that particular demand is to be done by the goods clerk. The customer has to approach the goods clerk, then only he can modify those things in TMS application.
Okay, right. The next is from Mr. Behra, which is he is asking about what is the demand process of
What is the demand?
Demand process of container.
A lot of noise actually. I'm never unable to listen, Kapil.
Kapil?
Yes, sir. Are you listening, sir?
हाँ प्लीज बोलो एक बार फिर से बोलो सत्या.
Yes,
sir. What is the demand process of container traffic?
What is the demand process of container traffic?
Right, sir.
Okay. Container, this is the same process of demand come release. There is no option available with the customer for placing e-demand. The goods clerk will take the demand as demand come release. But yes, after the demand come release task is reported by the goods clerk, the customer can log in into his ERD account. He will be shown all the indents registered against his name. He can select any of the indent and he can mark for ETRR. That option is available for marking. I have already shown in the presentation.
Okay. The one of asked the question about the non at the time of
Kapil lost your audio contact. Kapil?
Yeah.
Lost
Question
your
has
audio.
Yes. Am I audible?
Now you are audible.
The attendees has asked a question about the non-receiving of OTPs at the time of registration of e-demand. Sometimes it may happen in the right, sir. Please.
Okay. Normally, OTP is being shared with the customer through SMS as well as through email ID. But yes, sometimes one of them is not working, or sometimes both of them are not working. In the extreme conditions, we used to move to the mobile number verification scenario. But if any customer is complaining that he is not getting the OTP, the goods clerk can just log into the voice system. At the time of login, we are sending an SMS saying that you have successfully logged in into the application. If that SMS is coming to the goods clerk, that means there is some issue with the customer's mobile number, because the same SMS gateway is being used for both these transactions. So if you are not getting the SMS, then you can think of that, yes, there is some problem in the system. But if you are getting the SMS and customer is complaining that he is not getting the SMS, you just ask him to check, because there is some issue with his network or this thing. But yes, he has an option to call our customer care number and get the details of the OTPs and all. So he can go through that window also. Thank you.
The next question we have from Mr. Shantanu Sarkar is asking about the question whether the same GST number captured by the system which has been uploaded by the customer during e-registration of demand.
The question is not clear. Actually, I'm unable to understand the question. So he is basically talking about GST number captured by the system.
Capturing the GST number captured by the system, which has been uploaded by the customer during e-registration of demand.
No. So basically, at the time of ERD registration, we are capturing one document, or GST number can be captured. But against each individual registration of demand, we are basically capturing the GST number separately. Because GST number, as you all know, that this is state specific. If the customer's goods are going to Maharashtra, then the GST number Maharashtra should be there at the consignee end. So that's why we basically show them on the list of GST numbers. They can select one of the GST number from that.
Okay, sir. The next question is regarding the generation of global customer code. Attendees has asked the question, any guideline is available for the submission of document by any customer for the generation of global customer code?
So basically, the customer needs to approach the goods clerk or divisional authorities or zonal authorities with the papers. They should verify those details and they should send an OCC message asking for the global customer code to be created. Because papers cannot be reached, CRIS, and we cannot verify those things. So it is the railway authorities needs to verify, then they can approach OCC CRIS for creation of a global code. So this is the process basically.
Okay, sir. The next question is the refund of WRF after placing of demand, but not supplied within 10 days. But only if party opts cancel of demand for feature.
So this is, I think, the same issue that MK Das was talking about. Normally system forfeit the WRF amount if the intent is cancelled within 10 days of demand registration. After that, forfeiture doesn't happen. I think Das, MK Das from Bilaspur, who has pointed out that thing that needs to be studied, and if required, we have to modify the system accordingly. So we have to check that.
Kapil, next.
Can the number of consigners be added to TMS after customer places the e-demand?
Consigner.
Once the e-demand is placed, consigner cannot be modified. In fact, once the demand is placed, consigner cannot modify it. But for FFS traffic, we have provided a splitting of effort concept only for FFS traffic. He can add consigner if he is registered or authorized in the e-demand module. So we have the facility only for FFS traffic.
Okay, sir. The next one, Ravi Kumar Badami, he is asking about the previous transaction history may be provided in case of net banking.
Yes, we can design some queries for that. We are noting it down. We'll get the approval and we'll design the same.
Okay. And the next question, while generating e-demand in third step, option is can be demand slip.
Hey, Kapil, your voice is hello, Kapil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
तुम्हारी voice कट गई है, जरा फिर से बोलो.
Yes, in the third step of generation of demand, can the all details which we are asking from the customer can be reflected in demand slip?
Yes, it can be reflected. We just need to go to the drawing board again and we have to check which all details are missing in the e-demand slip. We'll add it.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Animesh Barua, and he is asking about at the time of preparation of demurrage charge bill online system is calculating demurrage charge on the basis of operating placement time, which sometimes found wrong, although we see the actual placement time, but system calculate on the basis of operating placement time. I said demurrage charge calculation on the basis of actual placement time of array fed by the goods.
It will be calculated on the basis of operating placement time. Please try and get the operating placement time correct.
Right, sir.
Next.
I think we have covered all the questions.
If that's over, Kapil.
Yes, sir.
Thank you Satya, thank you, Kapil, thank you, Christine, and for a nice presentation. And I thank you all the participants. And the video link is provided as demanded by few people, and you can have the video of this presentation also. And thank you once again. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Kapil.
Yes, sir.